Dr. Jennifer Webster. Thank you for coming on here. So, how did you become a chiropractor? What got you into chiropractic?
Ah, are you asking, or do you want to know why I became a chiropractor?
Yeah.
So I actually started working in a chiropractic office when I was 21 as an assistant, as a chiropractic assistant. And I worked at that office for 3 months. And the chiropractor who ran that clinic, I determined was actually crazy and felt that chiropractic was not for me. So about 8 months later, 9 months later, I actually met Dr. Brian Redpath and changed my life. I started working with him as his assistant and then became the office manager after a period of time. And yeah, wow, just seeing everything associated with the patients that came into the clinic, how they responded to treatment. I knew that chiropractic was something not only special, but a place where I was supposed to be, and that I should be a chiropractor myself. And that was 20 some odd years ago. That was a long time ago now.
Okay, great. What kind of conditions and people were you seeing come in and seeing these great results?
Actually, it was really simple things like people coming in bent over, as I now know the term antalgic, and they were struggling with low back pain and leg pain associated with it. And they'd come out dancing. Some of them would be completely straight and totally mobilized and feeling so much better and with these big grins on their faces. And that would happen sometimes in one treatment, sometimes in a few treatments, but oh my gosh, they were amazing changes really quickly. It was, as we said, low back stuff was super common, but there were lots of neck issues. The low back stuff kind of is what sticks in my head. It seems to really affect people's lifestyle when they can't get up from a chair easily, they can't get out of bed easily. So for them to notice such positive changes with one or two treatments, it was, for me, life altering. And I know for a fact it was life altering for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think was happening in those treatment rooms? So you're working at the front, you see them go in and then they come out. I'm assuming after the first couple times that happened, you're probably wondering to yourself, like, what's going on in there, right?
Well, I'd actually had experience. So in this previous chiropractor's office, I had been treated as a patient. So I knew somewhat what happened in the treatment rooms. But with Brian, I knew what he did for treatment because I had either observed him or I had experienced treatment with him already. So I knew that he was doing some pretty cool things, but it was really, as an observer, it looks like he's not doing a lot, right? He's not doing anything that required surgery. He wasn't doing anything that required braces or anything more significant. It was just a matter of a bit of twisting and jerking and moving patients around and getting these really amazing changes was something, from my perspective, that looked a little bit painful in some cases, but really obviously the patients didn't mind it because all of them got up smiling. So
Right.
yeah, so you're right. I mean, I had actually a bit of a knowledge of what he was actually doing.
Okay. And so then you decided to go to chiropractic school and then you graduated and then you went to work with Dr. Redpath, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
You've done your homework. Thank you.
Yes, we actually work together, obviously. So, so we're actually just down the hall and we see each other almost every day. So obviously we know each other. So one interesting thing with you is that you don't just treat humans.
That's true.
So what's kind of your approach? Why did you get into treating animals and what's the connection there?
Actually, when I was working with Brian as his assistant, I had convinced my parents to take the family dog to see a chiropractor here in Edmonton who treats animals. He was suffering with a lot of the things that the human patients were suffering with that came in to see Brian. So I convinced my parents. It took about 6 weeks for me to convince my parents to take the dog to this chiropractor. And one adjustment, and the family dog was running around like a little crazy dog. It was unbelievable how changed he was just from that one adjustment. And it was then that I knew that if I ever went into chiropractic myself, because I wasn't quite thinking at that time that I would go into chiropractic as a career. So, but that seeing that animal change so drastically was something that was even less invasive than what Brian had done with his treatments or other chiropractic treatments I had seen. It just totally changed my view about what good can can be done with chiropractic treatment, and then what good can be done with treating animals. Oh my gosh, it was miraculous. So with that, I knew when I went to chiropractic school that I would treat animals as well. And any of the different practitioners that I met along the way who treated animals, I chatted with all of them about it. And they all said, if you're thinking about a career in animal chiropractic, do it. You won't regret it. It is just an amazing form of practice, and it's an amazing part of practice in general. And that's certainly what I found, is that it's just the things that people call miraculous associated with chiropractic, which is so weird and intangible and so hard to quantify in any empirical way, because there's no definitive way to actually study that. But that is what you see when you adjust animals, because you can see drastic changes in these little beings. And some of them are big, because we treat horses as well, but you see these drastic changes in these animals, and it's been 1 or 2 treatments and they are almost 100%. That sort of thing is just unheard of in human chiropractic care, right? And it's very rare for us to find that in our human practices. So it's a nice aspect of the animal practice. It really just affirms everything that we do on a daily basis. So I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah, I remember when you treated Lola, like my little dog, you remember her, and she was having some hip issues, and then she was, really tucking her tail, and then you did your thing, and then she was a little hesitant at first, and then she was running around like a little puppy. So, and she's a grumpy old lady, so it makes a huge impact for sure.
Yeah.
So what are some common health issues that you see with people specifically, that you just see it's over and over again, things that people may or may not be doing, that they could, little small things that would make a huge impact on their health, and so they stop getting these recurring or chronic problems that develop? Just what are some strategies or some suggestions you'd give to someone to, live a healthier and better life, essentially?
Healthier and better life. Oh gosh, there's some stuff that we tend to see in regular daily practice, as you said, talking about people, humans in this case, not in animals, that definitely I could certainly say a few of the things that I've noticed that would really help people live a more comfortable life would be: don't sit too much, get up every 20 to 30 minutes and move around, and reach for the sky, stretch a tiny little bit, that kind of thing, and then sit down again. Especially, we live in this really sedentary lifestyle right at the moment because we're not able to do a lot. So getting up and moving is one thing. And then as part of that, I think as well, stretching, general body stretching, and remembering that you don't have to stretch every body part every day. This is something that I've talked to a lot of my patients about recently as well, is break up your stretching. Stretch, choose a body part and do that body part that day. And then the next day, choose a different body part. And you don't have to stretch for 20 to 30 minutes at a time. You can stretch for 2 to 3 minutes and then go back to it. Do it at another time in the day. Stretch another body part of that same body part in a different way, another 2 to 3 minutes, just to try to make it as easy in your lifestyle as possible, so that you're not feeling, oh gosh, I have to sit down and stretch for 20 to 30 minutes, and you're uncertain where you're going to find all that time. It's trying to find things that are really user-friendly to your lifestyle and make those positive changes and make them as easy as possible, so you'll actually integrate. The other thing that I think is really important is sleep. So finding a way to actually get the amount of sleep that you need every night. And the reason I say that is that everybody is different. Some people do well on 5 hours, some people need 10 hours. So it just depends on what your body needs, and making sure that you get good quality sleep in that time. So doing all of the things that you need to do to make sure you have good sleep, good pillow, good mattress based on what's best for your body, good sleep hygiene, they say. So just making sure that you're careful about how you're getting into bed, and the things that you do when you get into bed, in terms of making sure that your mind is rested and relaxing so that you can sleep well. Other than that, I think listening to your body. If your body says get up and move, do it. If your body says sit down and rest, do it. If your body says go to bed, do it. Don't push beyond things that don't make sense to your body.
Right. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Practical things you can do there for sure. I think a lot of times people will, be on electronics or on the computer or on their phone playing video games, and they're exhausted and tired, and they want to go to bed. Their body's telling them to go sleep. They know they need to get up, but they're just so fixated on whatever it is they're doing, and then they just forget or push it off. and then later on they suffer, and then they wonder why they're in this mess. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. We get so stuck, and I tend to use the word inertia, that it's so hard to overcome inertia, as we know. And once we get stuck in a pattern, we tend to not move out of that pattern. So it's nice to take those steps. And this is the other thing that I think is that every day is a new day. So you have a new opportunity every day to start something, or to continue something. So why not use today as the day that you're going to listen to your body and go to bed when your body tells you to go to bed, or stretch because it's good for you, or things like that. So it's just trying to be cognizant.
So what would you tell people that, I'm sure you get patients like this all the time. I know I do. They'll come in and they'll say they've, quote unquote, they've tried everything. They're having some type of health crisis or pain crisis where they're in dire need because, whatever ails them. They've seen their medical doctor. They're told they need surgery. They don't want surgery. They're not a candidate because other health reasons, or, they tell you they've tried it all, and then they say, well, I guess I'll try you, even though, chiropractors are crazy. And I'm a chiropractor, so I feel like I could say that. There's this notion that, what chiropractors do is unscientific, and we're like against everyone else in the health field. So what's your kind of approach to that?
Specifically, patients who come in and say that we're the last resort. That
approach?
Yeah,
so that, or people that, they'll say, well, I heard chiropractors, they're anti-medicine, anti this, not scientific. It's a bunch of, hokum pokum.
Hokum pokum, I like it. What I generally say, if people say that to me, or if I come across that in some way, what I'll say is, it's not true. First of all, most of us in the chiropractic profession, we follow a lot of evidence, and there's so much research out there, both done within the chiropractic field, but also done outside of the chiropractic field, that is in great support of what we do as a profession. And our desire always is to do what's best for the patient. And this is where the evidence-based research is so helpful, is we know that some of the research is really specific for given conditions and given people, but we can also make some extrapolations based on that. So we know that there's an incredible amount of evidence available. And if patients or just general public come to me and say that there is no evidence for chiropractic, I'll say that's simply not true, and you're obviously not reading the appropriate research. And there are so many places where they can find it. So I'll try and direct them in a place where they can find it. Yeah. And with respect to patients who come with a last resort, well, yeah, that's common. That's super common, unfortunately. Yeah, I think that the best thing that you can do in a situation like that is just support your patient as much as possible and say, well, it's good you found us, and that finally you've made a choice that can actually help, because holy cow, what's going on with you is totally in my wheelhouse, and that's something that we deal with on a daily basis. So right. you bet we can help you with it, right? So it's just helping them as much as they can. And I think people who come from that perspective of chiropractic is hokum pokum. I like it, Joe. I'm going to use that. That having them understand that they're just not educated enough, and that we can help them with understanding more about what it is that we do.
Right. Absolutely. I like the quote, you're entitled to your own opinions, but you're not entitled to your own facts. So, and the fact is that there's, plethora of backing up things that chiropractors do, and so forth. And I'll try to include some of those resources in the show notes, so you can explore those. It's funny because I remember one patient specifically several months ago, and they had said something like this, and I had pointed them to, I think, like 3 or 4 different evidence suggested resources, and it's not just 1 or 4 papers. I mean, these are libraries of research suggesting stuff about what we do and how helpful it is. So what would you say is, with all your success that you've had, what is your number one challenge that you're facing today?
Number one challenge. Oh gosh, not enough time in the day.
Something we all have, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'd say, that's probably the biggest thing, is there's so many things that I want to do in the day, and so many things that I want to do with practice, both practices, human and animal. And I feel like there's just not enough time in the day to do everything that I want to do, and not enough time to advance as much as I'd like to advance. Not enough time to listen to all the podcasts I want to listen to, or read all the papers I want to read, or just even listen to the books that are fictional books that I want to listen to or read. So yeah, I think that's just partly it. And recognizing that that's definitely about choice and choosing where I wish to spend my time. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest thing I deal with right now, is that. And you know, Joe, that I'm moving towards opening the dream clinic that we all want to be part of. So
yes, tell me about that. Tell us about that.
okay. That I really want to give myself more time and decomplicate my life, or uncomplicate my life. So trying to combine animals and humans in one practice. With in Alberta, in Edmonton, Alberta, we have to delineate human and animal spaces. So there's, walls between, but yeah, all in one clinic, having animals and humans all in one clinic in an interdisciplinary setting. So that I think there's just so many incredible wellness benefits to having the whole family treated in one location from a wellness perspective. So with chiropractic and massage and acupuncture and rehab and psychology, and just helping things be as beneficial for the public as possible, and also for us as practitioners, because if we have a collaborative team in one location, it'll be way better for us as practitioners and way better for the family and the patients. So
that's great.
That's
so
my plan.
Several practitioners under one roof, and several different species as well, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So interdisciplinary interspecies clinic. That's great.
Nice. I like the tagline. It's good.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if anyone wanted to learn more about you, or the things that you do and the things that you provide, what was the best way to get a hold of you or contact you or see what you're up to?
Yeah, I would say email is probably the easiest. And Joe, I think you have that, so we can make that available. If you're interested in looking up what animal chiropractic is and the different aspects of the animal chiropractic practice, I can make sure that website information is available as well. And the same with our Capilano Chiropractic Clinic website as well. That carries some information about myself, but the team here at the office, and we have a great team, as you know, Joe. That's right. Yes. So certainly accessing us through that website as well. And then I think we also have Facebook page, and I know the animal practice has a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I don't know what else we have here, because I am not the computer savvy one here in the office. It actually took us 20 minutes to sort out Zoom because of me, not because of Joe.
Right. Yes. So we're at Capilano Chiropractic now, but what is the clinic going to be called? What's that site going to be?
Yeah, so the new clinic, we have the name Link Body Collective, or The Body Collective. So Link The Body Collective. And the website, I'm just settling on a domain name right now, but I'm thinking it's going to be linkbody.ca.
Okay, great. Well, thanks for your time. And is there anything else that I didn't ask you or didn't mention that you'd like to say?
No, I think you covered all the basics and all the in-depth things too. I love it. Thanks, Joe. This was great.
Great. Well, I'll talk to you soon in about 30 seconds here. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, take care. Bye.